Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be teaching you how to solve a system of two linear equations. So I'm going to be doing this by teaching you the two traditional algebraic techniques, which include substitution and elimination. Substitution is best useful whenever you're given a y equals 4. So for substitution, I'm going to give you the first example. So for example, let's say we're given the system y equals 5x plus 19 and y equals 3x minus 15, okay? So the first thing what we notice is that it's in the y equals form, meaning substitution is the best method for us to use, okay? So we also want to recognize that these are both equal to y, right? So we can just set them equal to each other because they're both equal to the same thing. Okay, so from here we can just solve it like any other system, right? So we just try to isolate our x's, so let's move 3x to the other side. And let's subtract 19 from both sides. If we divide both sides by 2, we're going to get x equals negative 17. Alright, so we would be done normally, but we also have to remember that we have to solve for a y variable, right? So we have to solve for this y variable, and we have to figure out what is y. So the easiest way for us to do it is we just sub x into one of the equations. So if we sub it into the first equation, we have 5 times negative 17 plus a positive 19. Okay, so this is going to get us a negative 66 value, which is what our y is equal to. So this point right here, this point at negative 17, negative 66, is where these two lines are going to meet, and this is the answer to our system. Alright, so let's move on to a second example. Alright, so the second example is, let's say we have y equals 2x plus 25, and we also are provided with f equals 13. So we'll notice that this first equation, so equation 1 and this is equation 2, just I'm referring to them as that. So this first equation is in the y equals form, so substitution is the best technique to use here. So all we have to do is whenever we see y, we just put in what it's equal to. In this case, it's 2x plus 25. And this is how we rewrite it, okay? So all we have to do from here is we just have to distribute, and we just have to solve it like it's any other normal equation, okay? So let's combine our like terms here. So we're going to get a negative x, and let's add 75 to both sides. We get a positive 88, and because this is a negative x, we're just going to flip the signs, and x is going to be equal to negative 88, okay? So negative 88. Now all we have to do right now is figure out, well, what is the y value? So the easiest way to do this is we see, let's just plug it into equation 1. So whenever we see x, we're going to do negative 88 like this. And if we evaluate that, that's just going to be equal to negative 151. And so 151 is what we'll write as our y negative. And so this point is where these two lines are going to meet, and this is the answer to the system. Alrighty. So let's do a slightly different type of problem where we're going to use a different method, okay? So let's say we're given the system 3x minus 4y equals 37, and we're also given the line 2x plus 5y equals negative 29. Okay, so we'll notice that neither equation 1 or 2 is in the y equals form, so we're going to have to use elimination. So you might ask, well, what is elimination? So in elimination, what we do is we try to cancel out two variables. So for example, let's say we have a negative 4y and a positive 4y. When we vertically add the equation, so obviously we're going to have all our constants and our other variables, but when we add these two equations, these y's are going to cancel out. So this works with any coefficient as long as there's one negative and one positive version of the variable, okay? So from here, we're going to try to decide, well, which variable do we want to cancel out? So I say we cancel out y because this seems like the most easiest one to cancel out. So to cancel out y, we must evaluate, we have a negative, we have a 4 and a 5. And so we need to figure out, well, what is the least common multiple of the two, right? The least common multiple, this is just 20. Okay, so we have to basically figure out what do we multiply each equation by to make it a negative 20 and a positive 20. So for the first equation, we just need to multiply by 5 to make it negative 20. So this one, we just need to multiply by 4 to make it the positive 20, right? So from here, we just need to start distributing this 5 right here. So we're going to get a 185. And we distribute the 4. And we get a negative 116. So then we cancel out these 2. So then we get a 23x equals a positive 69. If we divide both sides by 23, we get x equals 3. Alright, so this is not our answer, but this is the first part of the point, right? So we have 3. So now all we need to do is figure out, well, what is the y variable equal to? So for this one, we can plug it into anything, but let's just plug it into equation 2. So whenever we see the x, we're just going to put 3. Like so. And so this is just going to turn out to be 6 plus 5y equals negative 29. So we just have 5y, subtract 6 from both sides, we had a negative 35. So this means that y is essentially going to be equal to a negative 7. Right? And so this is our answer, and this is the point at which both of these lines meet, hence the answer to our system. Alrighty, so let's move on to a couple of word problems dealing with systems of equations and just, other stuff like that. Alright, so this first one, we have, if a business spends C equals 3n plus $180 each week for producing n units and has a revenue R equals 5n, determine the number of units needed for the business to break even. Alright, so when this question is telling us break even is essentially when our cost, what we spent, in this case our cost, is equal to our revenue. So this means that we have breaking even and we have no debt whatsoever in relation to our revenue and cost, okay? So we know that cost is equal to 3n plus 160, and we also have revenue is equal to 5n, right? So essentially, we just need to set these two things equal to each other to evaluate when they will break even. So C is just equal to, let's do a different color right here. So C is just equal to 3n plus 160, and R is just equal to 5n. As we see, we only have one variable, so this is going to be very, very simple. So if we do this, we just 160 over here, subtract 3n for both sides, we get 2n. So this means that n is just simply equal to 80. Okay, so this one, we only have one variable that we have to deal with, but we are using the same idea of substitution. So this basically tells us that we need to sell 80 units to break even, or to basically prevent our business from spending more than they have generated in terms of money. Okay, so that's pretty simple, and that's how we do that question. So let's do one more word problem. Okay, so a mixture containing almonds, cashews, and cashews is 60% almonds. If an additional 10 pounds of almonds and 20 pounds of cashews are added to the mix, the almonds will constitute 50% of the mixture. How many pounds of each type of nut were in the original mixture? Alright, so the first thing I want to do is I want to basically declare my variables over here. So I want to say let A equal the number of almonds, and I also want to let C equal my number of cashews, right? I just want to make it very clear that A is my almonds and C is my cashews. Right, so the first thing I want to do is, before I figure out, well, what is the new mixture, we want to figure out, well, what is the original mixture, right? What is the equation for the original mixture? So the original mixture is basically, it's a fraction. So it's a fraction of how many almonds are in the whole mixture. Okay, so basically, our almonds are going to be at the top. and it's going to be over the total amount of nuts that we have, which is just our almonds plus our cashews. And this is essentially going to be equal to 60%, which we know when written as a fraction is just 6/10, which is also equal to 3 divided by 5. Okay, so all we have to do from here is write our new one. So this is the new mixture. Right, so our new mixture is just we add 10 pounds of almonds, right? We account for this at the bottom as well. And we also have our cashews plus another additional 20 cashews. And this is going to constitute to 1/2. All right, so all we have to do from here is we just have to simply simplify down our two equations, okay? So the first thing for the original, I'm going to write the original in orange, so let's just underline this one in orange. So for the original, all I'm going to do is cross multiply, so we have 3a plus 3c is going to equal a 5a. So when we let's try to move everything to the same side, so we're just going to have a negative 2a plus 3c is going to equal 0. So this is our first one. Now our new mixture, we'll say we're going to underline this in red. It's going to be like that. So now let's also cross multiply as well as simplify. So this one is going to be a plus c plus, we can combine the 20 and 10, so it's going to be 30. It's going to equal to 2a plus 20. Okay, so all we have to do, let's combine all of our like terms. So if we move, if we subtract 2a from both sides, we're going to get a negative a plus c, subtract 20 from both sides, and we're going to get a, we're going to get a positive 10, okay? This all equals 0. Now from here, I know I want to use the simplest method to solve what is a and what is c. So I know I'm going to use substitution here. So let's just so if I'm going to solve for c, let's just say I want to know what the cashews are. I can do a minus 10, right? I'm just moving everything to the right side of the equation so I can just have what my cashews are equal to. So now that I have what my cashews are equal to, I can essentially just sub this in over here and use substitution, right? So all I have to do is just rewrite this, and whenever I see a c, I just write a minus 10 equals 0, right? So negative 2a plus 3a minus 30 equals 0. And this I combine, so I have a is going to equal 30, right? Because I just add 30 to both sides. So this is what my almonds are worth. So this is how many original almonds I have. So now all I have to do is just figure out, well, how many original cashews do I have, right? So if we look over here, all we have to do really is just look at this equation right here, because this is what my cashews are equal to. So my cashews are simply equal to my almonds, which is 30, minus 10. So this means that my cashews are equal to 20, okay? So this is really, really nice. So all I have to do is 30 pounds originally, 30 pounds of almonds originally, and 20 pounds of cashews originally. Okay, so this is how you do it. Again, thank you guys for watching. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel and check out the other videos in my Algebra 2 playlist. I really hope you guys enjoyed, and thank you. Please watch my next upcoming videos. Bye bye.